Where did the time go? Welcome to the final segment of the interview stage. For this part, we're going to be discussing about an area that's at the forefront or the back of mind when it comes to navigating an online world. We'll discuss how to equip people with the power to protect themselves and how decision makers can reduce bias in technical systems. Joining me first on this segment on safety and accessibility online, please welcome Gabriela Ramirez Rey, investigative journalist, researcher, and founder of a consultancy specializing in social impact, gender, and techno-society. She has more than 15 years of experience. She develops strategies and builds communities that connect technology, policy, and activism to drive meaningful change. Hola, Gabriela.
Hola, por sorpresa va a ser en español. No, es un chiste. That's a joke.
That's
We
a
are going
joke.
to
It's
say
not
this
going to be in Spanish.
It will be English. Thank you so much for having me today.
A pleasure to have you. So, your work spans both in Latin America and Europe. Please tell us about your work focusing on digital safety and cybersecurity for women and marginalized groups.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a journalist. As you said, I'm originally from Argentina, and I started working in Latin America, researching about the situation of women in different industries, such as tech, ICT, gaming, and esports. And something that I have found in common is that whenever women want to enter a place of power or a political career or even a public career, they have a high risk to suffer an online attack. So then looking at the statistics, we know, for example, for UN Women's report last year, we have the span of women who suffer online-based violence is 16 to 58%. And then we have 300 million children that suffer from online abuse. So then what I started to work on is also with NGOs and grassroots initiatives, and what they have is another layer of not being defended enough. They have a censorship. So you have censorship for the platforms to talk about women's health, to talk about like whatever issue is happening to women, right? So my work is in policy to ensure that we are talking enough about these things, also helping women and underrepresented groups to be mindful about their security, and also with grassroots and NGOs to communicate, to be able to lift that censorship for them.
Definitely. So, for people who have never experienced targeted harassment online, it can be really hard to understand the full psychological and professional toll. What do you wish they knew?
Well, I wish they knew that we need to stop thinking about it that something that is bad luck, but also it's not your fault because it's something that is targeted to certain groups of people. So it's not a result of bad decisions or things that you didn't do. It is not your fault, but also you need to be mindful of your security and knowing that it is not an individual, but it's a collective. So it's good that we talk about this, about the collective, like what can we do as a group and not just for my accounts or your accounts. What can we do as a society to have these things in mind? And when that happens to you, it feels like like you're not secure anymore. So you start to be on the margins, right, of your citizenship, your online citizenship, because you feel not secure anymore and you don't want to participate anymore. And that goes against the things, the policies that we want to introduce on having more people online to have their rights, right, on the internet. So it's important to be safe and make sure that those around you are safe as well.
Definitely. Here for the collective solution, you advocate for education as a key solution. What are some ways we can start building digital safety awareness among young people, and particularly in underserved communities?
Yes, so that's something that we discussed early in the event today. We were talking about play and the importance of not educating in fear, but educating in joy and like being able to enjoy the spaces at fullest. So what I would say is we need not to educate young people for fear and you need to be out of a space, or we need to educate them for safety. and to play safe and to be able to have a safe playground for them. But for that, we need to make sure that, for example, parents understand what is happening and the elderly feel safe as well. So that's why I think cybersecurity is feminist, or the solution is feminist, because it's rooted in collective care and also in care and making sure that, like everyone is welcome. So make it more a playground and not, like a battleground, I would say.
More in empowerment rather than fear.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Which is one side thought. I know your background is in journalism, and I wanted to ask if there's a specific story you can bring to light about the importance of taking care of ourselves and protecting ourselves online. Maybe like you told me about a girl who joined a game in Argentina, and then there was something related to doxing. Can you maybe give us an example?
Yes, so she wanted to build a career in esports and gaming, and what happened is that she started to be harassed by her male colleagues. She suffered from doxing, which is like all your data exposed, right, including your address, and then she had people outside her house like messing with her Wi-Fi and all the things that she had connected. So what she said is that I needed to leave the space. I can't have a career in gaming and esports because that's what happened to me. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. So there's like this trauma part. But again, like if we give people, and especially young people, the elderly and women as well, like the tools to be there safely, you have less of a risk to suffer that. And then you don't have that sense of like when like people say like someone entered, like broke into my home, and then I don't feel safe anymore in that place. It's the exact same, right? So, and it happens in politics as well a lot, like around the world, not only in Latin America. Yeah, so that's something that we need to discuss more, I think.
Thank you. I think for a lot of us, we feel like this is something that's so far away or it's so removed because we're taking the right steps, but it could essentially happen to anyone. Yeah. So what are some things our audiences can do to protect themselves better in an online world?
Well, first of all, like the basics, I would say. So check those accounts that you don't use anymore, those online, those old emails that you have. Put two-factor authentication in all the places that you can. Also make sure that you have a contingency plan. Like, for example, if your devices get stolen, that you know how to wipe the data remotely, that kind of things. And I would say as a collective, it is important, for example, to have like a safe word with your family, because we know that with the development of AI, which is great, but it also helps, like people to have this kind of, like behavior, like emulating, for example, someone of your family's voices. So it's good to have this kind of, security. But also, as I said, I think that we need to discuss that as a collective and also discuss that as a civil rights and the right for everyone to participate in the space. So I think that this is material for a new feminist wave, to be honest, because when we say feminist, we are not talking about only women. We are talking about care. We are talking about the collective. So we need to make sure that we are empowering people to enjoy at their fullest, and we are protecting them, and like we are protected by policy, by the platforms, and also the collective, right?
Thank you, Gabriela. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.